What up, brethrens? This is your boy Tixfo here, and this video right here is going to be a if every killer had a fourth perk. Now, of course, there will be way too many killers to show in one video, so I'm basically going to do parts. We're going to do a part 1 right now, and I'm going to do part 2, 3, and probably 4 later on my streams. So go and check me out there. It's at Tixfo, and it's down in the description. That is perfect. Okay, so this perk right here is called Skullbreaker. You are sick and tired of the hindrance in your path and want vengeance on those who try to make you fail. Every time a survivor drops a pallet and stuns you, the survivor will be hit with an expose effect for 18 seconds. After a survivor is hit with the expose effect, the perk receives a cooldown of 180 or 60 seconds, like according to which level the perk is. Now, what do I think of this perk right here for Trapper? And the great thing about this perk right here is that it fits Trapper so well. It's like a stat perk. You get an effect on people. And I feel like that matches him like Skullbreaker. He has a skull on him all the fucking time. You see Trapper around the map, he walks around with his fucking skull. And imagine every time a pallet just boom, just drops on him, you know, his skull is gonna break, and then he gets so mad and he's gonna get the expose effect. And I really think this is a good perk for low tier killers as well. It's not busted on people like nerfs, because if you really think about it, nerfs never gets pallet stunts. It's really rare, and in those instances I don't think it will be that powerful, and I think that would be a waste of a perk slot on nerfs as well. So I think this perk is really good for low tier killers that can get a little bit of an advantage. Seconds, like the cooldown little bit low, depends. It's kind of like maybe 40 seconds is better, but like this could, all of this can be changed, okay? But I think this is a really great perk for someone like Trapper. That's all I'm just gonna say, okay? And let me pull out the next one is Wraith. And that is From the Shadows. The fear of being alone and out of sight pleases you and the entity. So when a survivor spots you while being 24 meters away from any other survivor, they will scream and reveal their location for 3 seconds. The cooldown of the perk is 80, 70 or 60 seconds after it being used. I feel like that was necessary. I originally didn't have the cooldown there, but I feel like, okay, you know what, this is very necessary to, or the cooldown would basically be like 3 seconds or something ridiculous like that. But I was like, yo, balance it out, you know. And I feel like this is a very nice perk for someone like Wraith, okay, because he's all about hunting down survivors. It's kind of like, I feel like you could use the same mechanics as when you spot like Ghostface. I think this perk fits Wraith well, as I think it's a way more different perk, to be honest. But I feel like when we're adding these new perks to each of these killers, we have to make them a little bit new at the same time. Wraith is completely invisible from further than 20 meters when close, by the way, so it will be completely based on RNG. That's the one factor that I'm a little bit sketched out on. I feel like this perk could work as well, okay? Again, all of these perks can be adjusted, okay? We can trim around it, we can balance it out. So here's the thing though about this perk. I feel like there's a lot of things that I have not written down here that I feel like is good for the balancing. I feel like it shouldn't be RNG based at all if you see someone or something. So killers that can go invisible, like Spirit and Wraith, and killers like that, they can't like be spotted when they're invisible. I feel like that is a nice balance. I feel like this could be a really fun perk to use. You could get some value of it without even knowing. I feel like it's really good for like putting pressure on people when they're trying to go for saves, you know. But I don't know if it will be too strong on killers like Nurse and stuff. It's not an aura reading perk, but again, like you show your location, so it's good as well. Basically almost does the same thing if you're good, so yeah. Okay, so this is Taste for Blood. The lust for blood enhances your senses, and you make sure no one is safe from your wrath. So after downing a survivor, a trail of scratch marks will take you where all the other survivors were at that time. The scratch marks will disappear after 8 seconds, and you will get a 4% haste for 3, 6 or 9 seconds after hit cooldown. So this is like maybe more of a Wraith perk, like tracking down, trying to find the other survivors. I think this is like so you know where you can go next. I feel like that is good. But at the same time though, no, here's the thing though, because important notice right here. I'm always thinking about Nurse. No, she's such like a misfit, okay? She's so weird because some perks could be so broken on her that the game couldn't be playable with her. That's the one problem. So we always gotta think about Nurse. Nurse is hindering great perk ideas, but I think this will work because you just get a trail of where they are going, you know? And I feel like the counterplay against Nurse is be out of sight of her. Don't let her see you. And if you can hide, that can be a nice counterplay. So I feel like this perk could actually work very well, and it can help out some low tier killers as well, just so you know, so they know where they are going to go. Taste for Blood, I think that would be a really cool perk for Hillbilly. I think that would be an amazingly fun perk, so you have more control, and you won't end up in those situations where you are bored because you can't find anyone. This is probably the most weird one I've ever made, and this is very unbalanced. Hex, Depression, and Cyanide. So your addiction of mistreating others has gone to a new level. Every time a survivor gets down around other survivors within the range of 20, 22, 24 meters, the other survivors will display care for the down survivor and will experience sorrow that results in their aura being revealed for 2 seconds. It's not too bad yet, but it's every 60 seconds though, so good for now. But then if the sorrowed survivor gets hit, a curse of cyanide will pop through their veins. The survivors can't heal themselves and is put into the deep wound state and can only be mended by other survivors if there are any left. Every survivor that is in the deep wound state will have their aura revealed to every other survivor. This sound, but it is a hex perk, so you can get rid of it, but this, in some situations, this could probably turn the game so fast around that you don't notice, and I think that is the problem with this perk. So I feel like this right here has potential, but it needs more balancing, because you can just turn around the match with this perk if you really think about it. If people are going to try and help, you always have like the aura reading, you can see where they are. You have deep wound state effect, except that this one you have to be mended by other people, and that totally depends on if you have good teammates or not, so that'll be hella broken, I know. So this, I feel like this has potential. This has potential to be something cool, but it's way too based on if you have good teammates, and it can basically turn around the game way too fast. The fact that you can't mend yourself puts a whole nother pressure, but just think about that it is a hex perk, so most likely people will find it, but it depends too much on having teammates that understand that, and you can sometimes end up in the match with teammates that won't do anything. So I feel like take away the fact that you need someone to mend you, and maybe it could work. And then we have Huntress, which is combat tactics. The feeling of being outnumbered gives you the advantage. Every survivor that is less than 24 meters close gives you 1 token. Combat tactics can only be activated when there is more than 1 survivor around you. So 2 tokens, that increases your lunge attack range to 20, 25 or 30% longer. 3 tokens, like after downing a survivor, your eyes becomes immune to flashlights for 8 seconds, which I think would be really good to just get, like just pick up someone and just get it off, you know. And 4 tokens, the first survivor that leaves your tear radius gets hit with the expose effect. I think this has potential because for it to be strong, it requires people to be around it. I feel like this is also, there's a bunch of different things you can get used for as well. I feel like this is a really cool, unique perk that could work in a lot of different ways. So when actually like survivors gets around you and stuff, and they try to save each other, like you have the advantage. So think about it, 2 people, let's say there are 1 guy that is always around trying to help another guy. You have longer lunge, so it's way easier for you to catch up and take down the other guy, so we won't reach a pallet or something. And then there's 3 people around there, like there's 2 people trying to save 1 guy, and then there's like, okay, there's 2 people I need to worry about right now. There's not a wall here. If I'm gonna pick up this survivor right now, they're probably gonna flashlight me, the survivor on my back. So what do I have? Immunity, bro. It just works so well. It would work so fucking well. I swear to God, bro, this would be so fucking cool, because then you have the advantage. Then you can just pick him up and you're immune. And then like when there's 4 people around and like there's always one that is like going to get out away and in and out of your tear radius, you know. So when that person gets hit with the expose effect, bro, like that would just be so sick. I feel like it could work in a way that if they keep going in and out of your tear radius, they could be exposed for like 15 to 20 seconds. This is for hag. So this is hex finish laps, okay? So making progress gives you more and more motivation to keep going. And with the power of hexes, you can almost stretch your arm across the finish line. Every time you hook someone, your lunge gets increased by 4, 5, or 6% more. The hex totem is only visible after you have gained 4 stacks. Now, this one I'm a little bit unsure on. So, quick reminder, when I was making this perk, I was comparing it to Coup de Grace, and my dumbass literally thought that Coup de Grace gave like 40% extra lunge range. But it gives 100% more. So, yeah, I will correct myself later, as you probably will see, but yeah, that was a stupid mistake of me. Getting a longer lunge, like so they don't have time to get to windows and stuff, like that could be crucial. And I feel like this could be a very good snowball perk as well. I think it's cool, but I think the hex is unnecessary. You really think so? Wouldn't it be really broken if you had a really long lunge? Because then I feel like Coup de Grace, like that wouldn't be like necessary anymore, you know? It's an aspect of the game that I think they should work way more on, you know? Every single perk that Hag has is a hex perk. So I obviously gotta make a hex perk for her. It stacks more and more, so think about it that way. You have 1 hook, you get 6%, 2 hooks, 12%, 3 hooks, 18%. Think about it that way. I know, but 24%, and then it will get cleansed. Maybe 6 stacks. At least, so this can always be like reworked in some way or form, but at a point where it's too, like it's beginning to be broken, like the limit should be where you can see the rune. I think that would make it more balanced. So let's think about it. So 6% and let's say 6 stacks, 36% lunge. Wait, what do you mean with 100? Oh, it gives 100% more lunge? Oh, really? Oh, okay, well that change it at oh my god. Okay, so editing, I didn't know Coup de Grace was that. Okay, so just taking away that it's visible, I guess it's not a hex, but like, oh, it needs to be a hex because it's from Hag. That's the one fucking problem right here. So we gotta actually just make it way more broken. Let's say that it will be increased with like 20% or something. Think about it that way. 20%, 4 stacks. You're at 80% lunge. It will become visible. Maybe we could take it up to 5, so you have 100%. Maybe somewhere around that. So thinking about it, like, okay, let's say it will be visible at 5 stacks, okay, not 4. 5 stacks, and it will be visible, and everyone can go and find it. There you have the Coup de Grace, okay? You can gain from it, or you can not gain from it. So that's what I'm thinking about. What do you guys think of these perks?